Hey guys, I'm Blessed Dad here with another review. This time we have The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 11, I Ain't a Judas. And this is an interesting episode. It wasn't crazy, action-packed, mega, super special episode. It wasn't. It was similar to 2 episodes ago, how it was kind of slow, nothing really happened, but it's building up. That's what this episode is. It's just building up to something huge, and it's my guess it's building up to the confrontation between Rick and the governor, because that's, what else would this lead up to? So, unless they got, something crazy. But anyway, before I get into the review, I just want to let you guys know that this review does contain spoilers. If you do not want to know what happened, just go watch the episode and come running back right here. So let's get on with this review. So, we start off where we left off before, and basically, Merle and Daryl are at the prison now, and they're basically just recovering after the attack from the governor. Now, this attack wasn't a crazy full-scale attack either. Like Merle said, it's just a knock on your door. And basically, when we start off, Merle's actually locked up, similar to what they did with Tyrese. Now, it's interesting because throughout later on in the episode, they let him just walk around after. So it's kind of like, okay, you know what, we trust you. That's kind of what they're saying, which it's hard to kind of believe that they would trust him right away. But we do see some of the members are saying, you know what, I don't trust him. Basically, they're trying to figure out if they should leave the prison or not. This is a big topic because basically the governor knows where they are now. They're in danger and they don't really have any way of protecting themselves. I mean, unless they find a tank or something. But, I'm just exaggerating, but they really don't have any way to protect themselves. And we can see Herschel actually getting really angry at this, and how Rick's kind of not stepping up and clearing his mind, as Herschel says. Herschel basically says, I put my family's life in your hands. Get your head clear, get it together, basically. And he's right. I mean, people have died because of Rick, and people have lived because of Rick. And that's a lot of pressure to put on Rick, and basically that's why he's basically going a little crazy. I think the pressure's just getting to him. And it's funny to see how Glenn, an episode ago, was kind of stepping up as the leader, and we could see that he was actually crumbling also. So we can see that Rick it's kind of happening to Rick too, just on a larger scale. Now, an interesting moment comes up right now. Carl confronts Rick for the first time in a long time, and he basically says, you know what, you shouldn't be the leader, step down, let Herschel and Daryl take over. Which was like a really broad movement for him, just to basically say, you know what, Dad, just stop. It's interesting to see how Carl's kind of grown up a little bit more, but I really don't think he should have said that. That's really questioning Rick's authority, and if I were the parent, I would step on that, don't tell me what to do, basically. But in this situation, I understand where he's coming. He sees the stress that's on his dad, and he thinks he should take a break just to relieve the stress. And he's basically right. I think Herschel and Daryl together, if they talk about and stuff, I think they can make the right decisions. But ultimately, Rick is the ultimate leader here, so we can see where that is. Now we go to Woodbury, and the governor is basically assembling an army for himself. And he's even actually having child, warriors or child slavery, basically. And he's having children actually be in his army, so as young as the age of 13. So basically, they have to know how to hold a gun. They're in the army. So that's kind of says what kind of person the governor is, even just putting kids into it. The governor tells Andrea that the prisoners at the prison shot at them first. And this is interesting. He's basically lying straight to Andrea's face. And she finds out later that he was lying, actually. But, again, we can see how the governor is slowly coming out to his true side to Andrea. And I think Andrea is the person the governor wants to basically cloud the most. He wants to trick Andrea the most. He wants Andrea to trust him the most. And so this is a straight lie to him. And Andrea basically wants to go to the prison and basically talk to them, to Rick and them. But the governor says if you go to the prison, you stay there, don't come back. Now, a good point comes up at the prison and where they are at this point. They're basically kind of trapped in the prison. They can't really go out into the field because all the walkers are there. So they're in a hard place between two rocks. Basically, they're really trapped. Um, Now Merle, he's in the group now basically, and Daryl is kind of saying, you know what, he's here to stay, deal with it, and again, Merle and Daryl, they're close brothers. They're not going to abandon each other, even though they kind of have in the past. I think the brotherly bond is there and it's strong. I don't think they're ever really gonna truly abandon each other or kill each other, unless it's like something really really important that they would really have to. But yeah, so Daryl is sticking up for Myrtle and he's saying he's part of the group now. So again, that's something really big to say. I mean, and they kind of already discussed this. I mean, Myrtle kind of went with Daryl, and Daryl and Merle went together when they weren't accepted into the group. So now that they're kind of forcing themselves in the group, I think that's going to cause some stress between Rick and them. And then another interesting part comes up. Merle talks to Herschel, and it's kind of just a casual conversation. And Herschel's talking about his leg, what happened to his leg, what happened to your arm, basically like that, I guess. But and it's just a normal conversation. And Herschel quotes the Bible, and Merle actually finishes it. So we can see that Merle's kind of smarter than he looks. He even said that, I miss the library at Woodbury. That's the one thing I miss, reading. So we can see that he's smarter than he really looks. And I guess he's religious too. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see another side of Merle than this like aggressive animal beast guy. Other than that, Andrea's going to the prison, and she wants Milton to cover for her and basically say, take care of what has to be done to make it seem like I'm still here. Then Milton kind of just goes straight to the governor and says, Andrea's leaving, blah, 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 she's disobeying you. Milton is very, very loyal to the governor, and I think this is going to hurt him in the end. I'm pretty sure he's going to die somehow or another. I don't think he's going to live very long. But I do like his character. He's smart. Maybe he'll actually find a cure. We don't know. And he kind of reminds me of the character in the comic book. I forget his name, but he's also a scientist. And in the comic book, he doesn't really have a purpose because, unlike in the show, there's nothing set up for him to work or anything. So I find that kind of interesting. But the governor tells Milton to go with Andrea to the prison, but don't tell Andrea that I told you to go. At this point, I'm saying, where is Tyrese? And my answer is answered because he actually shows up soon. But Andrea and Milton are now in the woods walking to the prison because they can't take a car or anything because basically Woodbury is boarded up and they're preparing for war with the prison basically. So it's interesting what Andrea and Michonne do. They actually take a walker and what I like to say is they give it the Michonne treatment. Because basically they cut off his arms, Milton jumps on a walker, and so he's on top of the walker, just like kind of putting his knees down in his back so it can't go anywhere. Andrea chops the walker's arms off with an axe. Then they put the walker's mouth, kind of like biting a stone, and smack its head on the stone and take out the teeth. So it can't actually bite them or harm them in any way, but they're going to use the walker to kind of cloak into other walkers so they don't bite them. So kind of exactly what Michonne did with her pets. Now, this was a very gruesome scene. One of the most gruesome scenes, I think, in the whole show so far. But, it was really cool to see just the gore and stuff. It's a horror fan's dream, basically. Then they run into Tyrese and his, crew. Basically, at this point, Milton kind of volunteers to say, you know what, I'll bring Tyrese and the people back to Woodbury, and you go to the prison by yourself. So I think this was kind of just a way for Milton to just kind of slip away and go back to his beloved governor. So I think that's kind of what he was doing there. And then we go to the prison for a quick shot, and basically Merle's trying to clear things up with Michonne and say, I was just following orders, I really don't want to kill you, blah blah blah. You know what? He seems sincere too, and he seems kind of nice. The way he's addressing himself, it's pretty cool. And but I don't think really Michonne's buying into it. I think she really still really doesn't trust him at all. At this point, Andrea arrives at the prison, and it's not a very kind welcome. Rick immediately pulls her up to a fence, searches her, ties her up. It's not a very kind welcome at all. But they finally let her in. And something that kind of puts everything into perspective at this point. She asks, oh, where's Lori? Where's Shane? Because she doesn't know. And it's kind of puts it in perspective of what's happened until this point. Everything that Rick has to go through, it's kind of brought up again. And basically at this point, she finds out everything that happened. She also finds out that the governor was lying to her and the governor shot first. And she basically said that the people of Woodbury, the citizens, they see Rick and them as like killers, and they're like savage killers that, they have to be killed, blah blah blah. So again, the governor's lying to all the people, and the Rick and them find out that he has an army basically. And basically Rick and them say, why can't you just get us inside of Woodbury, sneak us inside? She says no. So we can still see that she is still loyal to the governor, still having doubts on what side she's on. She has to pick a side soon. I mean, there's going to be a war, and that's probably where this season's going to leave off. The war is going to happen, and season 4, we have to wait. But she has to pick a side. She can't be in the middle. She can't both like Rick and the governor. So, she really has to pick. And then Michonne and Andrea kind of have a one-on-one talk, and she basically says, I kind of lost you right when we got into Woodbury. Andrea, you were gone. Like, you were under the governor's spell the second you laid eyes on him. You chose a warm bed over a friend. And it's true. She went with the governor. And I don't know if it's totally a thing about, she picked like safety and all that, and basically like a warm bed over a friend, or was it more of, I love the governor, I want to stay with him? We don't really know. Now we go back to Woodbury, and Tyrese is talking to the governor, and the governor tells Tyrese how they were attacked by these people and everything, and then the governor basically finds out that Tyrese and them were at the prison with Rick and all them, and we were chased out by Rick, blah blah blah. So now the governor has an advantage here. We're in for attacking them. That's what some of the people said there. I don't know if Tyrese is in for attacking them, because he's a good guy. I don't think he wants to kill them. But Milton basically says, well, can you describe the layout and all this stuff? So now they have an advantage over Rick. They kind of know what the prison's all about and everything. And you know what? I was kind of sad to see that Tyrese is with the governor now. Because, Tyrese's character is awesome. I love his character in the comic book. And it's just kind of sad to see him, like, basically go to the dark side. Because I just would really... Sorry, I can't slip my tongue there. I would really like to see him next to Rick fighting the governor, on the big screen. Not the big screen, the small screen. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of angry. Now, and then Andrea finds out what happened to Lori and Shane. And Carol tells Andrea to say, this is basically what she says to him. If you go back to Woodbury, kill the governor in his sleep. It'll solve all the problems. And we can see that Andrea's kind of thinking about it, and is that the right thing to do? That's basically what she's thinking. Now, Andrea goes back to Woodbury in a car at this point. She doesn't get kicked out of the prison, though. She decides to go back to Woodbury, which again tells you the loyalty that Andrea has to the governor. And Andrea tells the governor that she went to the prison and everything basically that happened there. And and then at the prison, Beth starts singing again, similar to what happened when they first arrived to the prison. It's kind of awkward. I don't really know why they have that, but whatever. So she's singing, and it's kind of just going through some scenes, nothing really important. But we find out that Rick is gonna go on a run with Carl and Michonne. We don't know what they're gonna do though, but they're gonna go out of the prison, and basically Daryl and Merle and Herschel are going to kind of hold the fort down at the prison. Now we go back to this Woodbury, and we see Andrea is sleeping, like literally sleeping, at night with the governor. The governor's sound asleep. She gets up, basically naked in the moonlight, as my buddy Biggie Prime says, and she has a knife, and she looks like she's going to kill the governor. she goes right over the governor, and you can see in her mind, she's kind of contemplating, what should I do? Like, what's the right thing to do here? Should I kill the governor? She has the knife right over the governor, is about to stab, and stops. So we can still see that she has loyalty to the governor, and she really doesn't know which side she's on. So that's basically where the episode ends off. So what do you guys think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What? Leave your comments in the comment section below. I just want to say thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys later. Can't wait for the next episode and expect another review by me. So thanks, guys, and I'll talk to you later.